How to edit transactions in Knapp Online. There are various ways to fix mistakes made for certain transactions in Knapp Online. The two that I'm going to discuss relate to the transactions made from the banking general ledger screen using the recorded payment or recorded deposit functions. Let's go over the first ways to make edits. The easiest way is to use the transaction search or edit function located here. This function has various options to choose from in order to search for the transaction. I can search by reference, which is the best method when searching by check number. I wouldn't recommend this option when searching for deposits or invoices because the system generates the reference numbers for you. I can also search by selecting the date range I am looking for. If the date range includes a closed month, I will have to select this checkbox so that my closed transactions are visible. More on closed transactions later. You can narrow your search by selecting the type of transaction. For example, if I was looking for a bank deposit for this month, I would want to filter it by the type bank deposit in order to narrow the amount of transactions displayed. The memo field is extracted from the transaction memo box in each payment and deposit screen. You can type in a few letters or numbers to bring up any transaction with that information in the memo. I will search for my transaction by entering in REF in the memo search box and then select Search. A list of transactions will appear that contain the letters REF somewhere in the memo field. I want to point out that there are a few possible options that you will see in this column. The pencil icon that you see here means that you can edit the transaction. The word reconciled means that this transaction was selected in the reconciliation screen and must be deselected before any edits can be made. You might also see a locked pencil, which means that this is a closed transaction and the only way to change this is to void it. You may also see a blank space, which means for any changes a void is required. The transaction I want to change is check 115. As you can see, it is showing the words reconciled in that column. This means that I have to deselect this transaction from the reconciliation screen before I can make any edits. From the Banking and General Ledger screen, select Reconcile Bank Account. Then select the date of the reconciliation. Find the transaction and uncheck the box. Notice that your bank reconciliation will now have a difference of that amount. Now I go back to the Transaction Search screen and look for my transaction. As you can see, the pencil icon is now available for me to select, which means I am able to make edits. This will bring up your transaction in the Payment or Deposit screen. I can change the date, reference number, name of the person you are paying, and account. I need to change the code for this transaction, and in order to do that, I have to select the pencil icon. I select the pencil icon for the line item with the incorrect code. Then I will enter the correct code. Notice that you can change the code, dimension, and amount when you select the pencil icon for that line item. If I don't select the green check mark before selecting Process Payment, the system will generate a warning at the top in yellow as you see here. Always select the green check mark to confirm any changes and then process the payment. Once you make changes, the system will void the original transaction and create the updated version of your transaction. Since this was previously reconciled, I will go back to the Reconcile screen and make sure that I select that transaction again so that my accounts are in balance. Now I want to go over voiding transactions. Here are some examples of when the void function should be used. When the transaction is closed, to delete an invoice or payment that was created using the Sales and Purchases tabs, to delete a transaction that was entered in twice or is completely wrong, or to log a voided check. The first step is to search for the transaction you want to void. Using the transaction search function, I can again search by reference, type, date, and memo. Since I am voiding a check that was entered in twice, I will put the check number 108 in the reference field and select Search. Notice the transaction type and number for this check. I will need both of these in order to find my transaction in the Void a Transaction function. In this example, my type is bank payment and my transaction number is 21. From the Banking and General Ledger tab, select the function Void or Delete a Transaction. From the Type drop-down, select Bank Payment and enter the transaction number, then select Search. Select the pencil icon to choose that transaction. A warning will appear at the top stating, "Please confirm marked item to be voided." To verify the transaction, you can select the book icon to view the transaction. Scroll down to the bottom and you can see the date is set to today's date. You can enter in a memo for future reference. In this example, I will enter duplicate check and then select the Void Transaction button. A second warning will appear at the top that asks to verify that this is a transaction you want to void. If so, select the Proceed button at the bottom of the screen again. The selected transaction has now been voided. For more information on how to edit transactions, please contact your NAP representative.